Hello and welcome, esports fans. We are here live with game number 2 on the Reflash number 2 stream. This is Monkey Bubble Contenders Trials. This is the 1 week we're doing it. I'm FBI Tugboat, joined with Man of Class, and we are getting it going here in this first of two between Vasta and Team Avoided.
Yeah, we definitely are Tugboat. It's going to be a great one. Of course, we just saw a very short but very sweet series between Young and Beautiful and Samsung Morningstar. So I'm happy to get into the next one. Still, rules are the same. First to two, same map pool. Nothing changes in that regard. But we've got two new teams, like you said, Vasta and Avoided. And let's start talking about Vasta Gaming, because Vasta Gaming has gone through a very heavy iteration over the past few weeks. Of course, they lost their core founding player, Sauna. They're now no longer on there. And a few other members have come in, come out. But Vasta has really geared themselves towards more of a divey roster. If you look at the heroes they like to play, there's a lot of like Winston D.Va going around. The Echoes is coming into play. The Tracer is there. So you really feel like they should maybe not play as well against a meta composition, because dive is still a bit tricky to pull off there. But then you look at Avoided, and that's like the perfect team for them to play against, because they are not going to play meta. Like whatever you say, they just won't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Avoided coming through here. These are what the team name has been decided, because these are players who are some of the most avoided in EU. They are all one tricks, but of course that means they're very, very good at the characters that they play. What that also means, of course, we're not going to see very much variation, and almost certainly not the more meta picks. Is that fair to say, Meta Class?
That is very fair to say. So it will be probably Tractor Kid, also known as Ball, who are going to be on the roster screen, is going to be playing that Wrecking Ball, according to their name. Lightbringer looking to be bringing up the other tank. Normally, they play the Torb player, but right now looks like they're not going to. They're going to actually be playing another tank. Which one it will be, we don't know. Totti and Yezen will be on the Junkrat and the Pharah, most likely, with Hempy and T-Sorcerer ringing up the rear with a Baptiste and likely a Mercy, but maybe something else. Hempy can surprise us, might go on the Lucio, might be on something else. Hempy is a bit more of a flexible player, has been doing very well on the Ana though, so they could just not run a Mercy. It's also very possible.
Yeah, the Mercy up and down. I think it's far more likely to see the Baptiste and the Ana, especially.
Maybe both.
Those current iterations of them. So.
100%. So, since both of these teams are likely not going to be playing that hardcore double shield meta we saw in the last series, that was just a mirror matchup all the way through. This could be a very different and therefore very exciting series. But of course, it's always the question whether we're actually going to see that, because these teams could surprise us, just come out with, well, here you go. This is just what we're playing now, and it's exactly what we saw in the last series, and that's what we were expecting. So, one of the players I do want to note though, Crisis. What they put on their sheet was just, here is Brigitte, then my second favorite hero is Brigitte, and then there might be some Lucio involved. But I don't mind that, because they're playing probably from the USA, and a little bit of ping. At least they're US citizen. I don't know if they're actually residing there at the moment. So that could provide some issues there. And Tugboat, have you got some experience of playing on ping yourself?
I have not played too much over to EU, at least on Overwatch. I'm a Lucio main myself, and I've been known to play a little Brig myself as well. So your point about those characters being a little bit easier on ping, definitely the case. They're not hit scan. They're not characters that require a whole lot of big divey movements. Obviously, Lucio, one of the faster characters in the game, but given that his shots from the Sonic amplifier are just they're not hit scan, a little bit slower, going to be a different story. And Brig, obviously, up close and personal with everything except for her whip shot. Just two characters that play into having not the best connection as well. So like you said, US player makes a whole lot of sense, and I do believe that might be the only US player we've seen on both sides of these teams.
It is, yeah. I mean, normally you do see the EU players go over to the US, not the other way around. So it's already a very, I would say, nice surprise that we see this coming out there. But yeah, I mean, I'm all ready to get into this game. Obviously, we're looking into starting on Busan again, and with these teams playing very differently, I think you can kind of speculate on what that's actually going to mean, because, like we said, Yezen and Totti being on the Junkrat Pharah could probably just be a lot of spam. And if you play double shield against a lot of spam, then you might have some sustain, but you're going to be very static in one point, so you just get blown up, really. That's what that comp does really well. They put them out of position with the Wrecking Ball or the Halt or something like that, and then they just decimate them with all that grenade and rocket damage. But if you're not going to be playing the double shield, if you're Vasta, you might actually play the dive, which according to their team sheet they might very well do. That's a very different ball game. I've casted games before where you saw that a Junkrat sort of taking over a game, that the enemy team switches to dive, and the whole dynamic changes. So that's why I'm particularly interested in what this matchup is going to be like. But the community again, this Trials community, they made a prediction, and the prediction is it's a fair one. I would say I would give the edge to Avoided as well, but it was not as one-sided as the Young and Beautiful game we just saw. That was like 94.75%. This one was closer. It was more of a 60-30 split. 60-40 split in that case. But yeah, that would seem reasonable. Vasta has definitely got a good chance of doing something here. And I'm interested if they actually pull out that dive versus what Avoid is going to bring us.
Yeah. Also, the big difference here is the two different maps. Busan being in control. I think dive would be way better there if you're looking to play double shield against a team like Avoided on a control map where the point does not move whatsoever. I think it's safe to say you're going to be in for a bad time. Different stories altogether for dive. We'll see what we get as we get into this one. Busan up first, and this is downtown.
Yeah, taking your way downtown once again. And like we said, is it going to be the dive? Or is it not going to be the dive? And it looks like it will be, but Explorer is right now on the Zarya, actually. It is on the Genji Disperse on the Doomfist, and I think they might very well run out with this, because they don't have that much time to switch, and it will be that exactly. No swaps coming out. This is a very interesting composition. They might just specifically play this, because the Zarya gets so much charge from all that spam damage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is looking at the Zarya Doomfist combination, that classic, but wow, Julo falling very, very early. This is Yezen getting it going already. Got that Mercy Pocket up top, that extra 30% damage, making it sing so far. Lightbringer being Winston getting involved in this one as other members from the side of Avoided. You got Post and Personal. Abs falling as well as Crisis. That's the healing core for Vasta down, dusted, and Avoided taking point.
Yeah, Yezen just gets that first kill on the Yulo straight away with just poking down from above. And Yulo will therefore switch over to the Orisa Explorer, over to the D.Va. Edis is now on the Echo Disperse on the Sombra. So many changes gone out, but rather change now than change in like a minute, of course, because there's not a lot of time left, and I like that they're trying to figure out a different solution.
I'm with it. Disperse now over onto that Sombra. Might do nasty things against our Yezen Pharmacy combination. T-Sorcerer as well. Explorer trying to get a little bit high and get some damage onto this Pharah combination. Now in the middle, Explorer forced to come back a little bit. Now with the rest of his Vasta squad. Big things actually happening from Edis up top, and it forced this Winston down. Lightbringer back with the rest of his team. Toddy taking out this Sombra player. Disperse not going to be on the field for much longer. Edis getting up very, very low after a nasty direct shot from this Pharah. A little bit more against him. Now coming all the way back. Abs getting shots all over the place after that. Yeah, that nano boost was supposed to come out in the thick of things there. I must have missed it.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but I do know that I was completely wrong about Totti. Totti was actually, I was expecting him to be on the Junkrat potentially, but a Torbjorn is of course a much smarter pick in an open area like this. They do manage to get this kill on the Lightbringer though, so this fight is definitely not decided in the favor of Avoided just yet. And they're going in deep. They're really going to try and pull out some ultimates and potentially even win this fight and flip the point.
Yeah, they have ultimates all over the place available right now. Toddy is now done. That barrage will come soon as the Echo now choosing a target. That's a little Torbjorn action. Nidus is very, very close to this already. Now he's at 17, gets super low and gets that back up. He will have that Torb ultimate, and this might be the deciding factor that Vasta needs. Hampe, Tractor, both done, deleted, and dusted after now Tractor Kid, that's balls. Minefield gets a lot of advantage, knocks 2 into it, and the switch on over to Vasta at 95% for Team Avoided. Lightbringer pulling out that Primal Rage there toward the end, but is not able to get out of dodge. Crisis and more gives him the business, and he's going to be back towards respawn. 15% or so for Vasta, and they look like they're holding strong.
Yeah, they do, but Vasta is not out of this one just yet. There more ultimates will be invested. Nice combination, but all the ultimates keep coming out from both teams. What a ult fest, even though this fight doesn't seem to sort of be over. That they still clean them up. All that invested. Might want a few of those back if you are Avoided. But I really like what we're seeing from Vasta here. Of course, already closer than the last series where they actually won a few fights and now they're on getting some percentage. But it will be Yulo ready for the Supercharger. Crisis and Abs will have their support ultimates up. And there's not really that much on the other side. But they get that pick on Abs so early on.
Yezen just absolutely providing value all day long for his team. This pharmacy combination up top is just absolutely done nasty things against the side of Vasta. Now, Tractor done. An entire cadre of Vasta members taking out this ball here. Not such an easy feat as Yezen still looking to get something going up top. Half health as Explorer as he gives flack that is necessary against these avoided squad. And now it looks like Vasta just trying to regroup.
Yeah, you do get high burst value from Edis on that on an Echo, and then Spurs just disables targets. But right now, you've already lost Explorer entirely. Tractor Kick goes down the other side. No more ball to fight with, and the point will flip. But this fight is not over.
T-Sorcerer, Mercy ultimate out, but Tadic gets absolutely mobbed on this one. Edis and this Brig, that's Crisis, just giving him the business on that. Now, Yezen up top, trying to get up to this next barrage, but 75% not really that much quite yet. Edis getting it going, and all of these members avoided, forced off a point. Now, Vasta taking this back here, 85. I mean, Manic Last, we saw Busan last time go 99-0 both times. This is a much more even game.
It definitely is, but you do see that Vasta struggling to deal with all the separate elements. There's another fire in the sky. Barrage gets the double kill, and they keep on piling on with all those. Looks like Avoid is going to flip this one back and just win out this round. But like you said, a lot closer. And it did look like Vasta had actually a game plan of how to deal with this. And I do like it, because if you look at that, like I said, Edis provides a lot of burst damage. That Wrecking Ball, as long as they can get them to half health, they're just deleted from the game. That Focus Beam is just way too powerful in that case. And then Disperse disables targets in order to facilitate something like that. So I'm really liking that solution. The only thing is that they don't really have anything to really deal with the pharmacy other than their diva. And while Explorer is doing a great job of that, they need to not let the fire get as much value and distract them as much as she is. And I think they're doing an okay job at ignoring her, but it needs to be tightened up a little bit more. Now we see Toddy go over to the Junkrat, and on this point that makes so much sense. But again, changes from Vasta. They have something prepared here, and it's Torbjorn McCree.
Torbjorn McCree, not 100% sure how the Torbjorn will go here, but Edis on the McCree might be a different story. I think Edis was doing a decent job of handling the pharmacy up top, but really is just that last one that Yezen got. Again, with the assistance from this Mercy all day long from T-Sorcerer, really set that up. Huge barrages coming out from this guy to have one avoided their first round. Now, yeah, and that's just going to happen over and over. Disperse over on this Torb is just going to get that turret just absolutely mauled by this pharmacy combination. Toddy looking to get positioning on this. Edis really has his work cut out for him, and great job on that one, taking out the Mercy. Last few shots on that one, all gonna be money all day long. Crisis falling to the fair that is still alive, and Edis now has his work cut out for him a little bit. Yezen still getting stuff going on over there as Avoided barely gets the last of it. These two tanks for the side Avoided very, very low, but still fighting away on point.
Yeah, the Mercy is now back. They get dispersed on the Torbjorn as well. This fight is not over, but it's looking more and more like Avoided is going to get away with murder here, because they were looking like we're going to be in a bad position. Lightbringer will fall to the McCree, so the fight's still going on. There's still numbers, but Yezen built the barrage up in time to get Edis, and that's how they just clean it up with all the follow-up damage. Beautifully done from Avoided. And they were, like I said, they were in a little bit of a precarious position, but they just have that knowledge about all their characters that they can get away just in time. And it's so nice to see players have such mastery over their characters.
Wholesale switches now. Edis dispersed, both moving the Ash and the Tracer respectively. Now, was that possible? Was that barrage possible because the Explorer already used his Matrix?
Maybe. I think the Explorer might actually already been out of mech. I think he meched Explorer and then barrage straight away. Something like that. Or Explorer was just not there.
Yeah, Ooh, a little bit of wonkiness coming out. That tire out now, going to be waiting just outside of entrance, but Julo falling on that one. Avoided it is comfortably in the driver's seat, Manic Class.
Yeah, they really are, and they're looking very comfortable at this point, particularly because they can finally play that Junkrat, the Torbjorn, a little bit out of the comfort zone of Toti, it seemed like. And they're just not able to deal with the pharmacy at once. They got the Mercy once, but then the Pharah still got a few kills afterwards. Now they're coming in with this Tracer, though, who has a lot more room to work with, because there isn't that much targeted aggression. They get Toddy.
Rez comes through. T-Sorcerer just in the nick of time. Nicely done. 88% Team Vasta has the work cut out for them. Attempted self-destruct on point, not going to happen. Explorer just using that one for a remake. We have an angry Lightbringer pulling that Primal Rage, but Toddy and Yezen just absolutely getting it going. Death from above as Julo taking a whole lot of damage. These tanks from the side of Vasta not going to live very long.
No, unfortunately, you're not going to get away with that one, Vasta. You tried, but unfortunately, no cigar on this one. And of course, it is control. You don't have that much time to swap, and they did constantly have to react to what Vasta was doing, to avoid was doing. They're trying. I don't think they're going to be able to do so. There's too many ultimates online. There's the mines on the field. Crisis is on the Lucio. Will eventually just go down. And yeah, this is that's indeed the map, the round of Void taking that 100-0. Not as close as the first round, but still we saw Vasta try and cope with it, right? And I feel like that's always going to be the story with Avoided, unless you have something that already works prepared straight away. They're usually going to get away with winning that control map, because that control map, you just don't have the time to actually adjust to anything. Yeah. You can't get the ultimates up. There'll always be a step behind. So I feel like if we go to the other map types, we start on Hybrid next. There will be much more room for Vasta to maneuver, to set up a defense of their own, to get an attack going and try and break the lock. You know, there's more time, more resources, more opportunity for swaps. So I have faith that Vasta can actually take a map out and maybe even win the series. But so far, Avoided does look in control.
Yeah. Vasta, kind of different between our Young and Beautiful and Morningstar's game last time. Came through and Morningstars were not so much able to find anything until the end. Now this starts out with Vasta, taking it, I think 90 to 99 or something like that in round number 1. Yeah. And then on the second Busan map, completely different story. Don't get a single percentage point. And really, I think the most impactful player here, definitely unavoided. And it's definitely got to be this T-Sorcerer. Without this Mercy Pocket, our Yezen Pharaoh was simply not going to be able to get half as much done as it was, especially once Vasta realized just how much effect he was having. There's not, it is a very, very tall order, I'll just say this. For any other healer to get that much healing onto a Pharaoh, especially when you have a Pharaoh like Yasun who's just going all over upstairs. You just aerially just all over the place, and it's just very, very hard for any other healer to really hold on to those heals as much. And it was 3 barrages or something like that. They decided this game. Whenever Vasta had like a little bit of a point, a little bit of a foothold to try and come through on this, Yasun was just yep, I'm gonna pull the barrage and just take a 2 or 3 piece, and then after that it's just clean up. Really. Yeah,
very much so, and it was interesting as well, right? Because they had a backline. Like Kempe was definitely in the backline there on the Brigitte, but it was hard to get on. They didn't really have a diveable backline because both their DPS were fairly mobile and fairly out there. Their tanks, of course, Winston and Wrecking Ball, very much more mobile you can't get, and then you have Mercy. So. Yeah, we saw Avoided just have a very nice composition that is tricky to deal with in a lot of ways because there's so many moving elements at once that all are very good at the heroes they play. But now we'll have one part that's being removed and being replaced. So Lightbringer will no longer be in there. It will actually be Minimi coming back in. And it has to be because they prefer playing Orisa on this map.
Yeah,
like they're not playing Control. Orisa's coming out, and Minimi is, of course, the player to do that. The Orisa god, back from the Clockwork Vendetta days, comes back into this one to really show that Orisa is still a force to be reckoned with. Of course, we know Orisa is still meta everywhere, even in Overwatch League. So it's not like they need to prove that Orisa is meta, but I think they really want to show us how much you can actually do with that hero. I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've seen Minimi play.
Yeah, I'm with it. T-Sorcerer, if he's able to continue on with the reses, that was another big thing. We got, like you said, Lightbringer not in this one anymore, but Lightbringer on the Winston did kind of just, straight up tank on this. Like, he got up close and personal and just took a lot of damage that would have otherwise gone to Avoided. The Winston dies, Vasta backs up, picks different targets and gets their group damage started on different characters. T-Sorcerer comes in, no Zara bubble, no, defense matrix on him, no, absolutely nothing, gets perfect reses off multiple times in a row. Every time he started a res on Busan, he got it off in the end. And resing a monkey, resing a 500 health, tank is just so effective.
Yeah, we're going to see a bit of a hybrid defense come out here, so they're expecting Avoided, obviously, to run what they're going to run. So they pick Julo on the Winston Explorer on that Sigma. Ed is on the Ashe, Disperse on the Echo, and Crisis and Apps will be running the backline with the Baptiste and the Ana. And yeah, they're running exactly what we're expecting them to. Double spam with the Mercy and then the Ana Wrecking Ball Orisa.
Yep. Vasta actually getting on over to point a little bit early, or excuse me, Avoided actually getting on over to point a little bit early. That was mostly just for pressure, not really a whole lot going up after that. On board of Tractors, gets a lot going on. The back lines, that's Toddy that he comes over and kind of saves, it seems. But Avoided still alive on this one. Nobody dropped quite yet. A very split defense. Is it a fair way to say this, Man of Class?
Yeah, split defense, but also split offense, right? So they have to react to it some way, somehow. And they're really putting a lot of pressure on Yulo here. Yulo might actually go down very low. The Immortality Field does save them, but it does mean it's not available for the rest of this fight.
Wow, okay, so that focusing beam, Echo's focusing beam did get nerfed a little bit recently, but I believe that was just distance, right?
Just
it was not
distance,
anything
yeah.
to do with damage, yeah. So
Nope.
getting right there close and personal, Disperse, getting exactly what Team Vasta needs. That's a lot of players falling against Vasta. I think this attack might be done where it's... No, excuse me, Avoided kept this alive all the way through. And again, another res, T-Source are able to get off Toddy here. Full 6 for the side of Avoided.
And Avoided is able to just kite around a lot. They're hard to track down. They're hard to catch. They're hard to really, stick into one position. Minimi and Hempe are probably the closest ones to be able to do that too. But they just have so much sustain together that it's really hard to push on them. So Avoided, the only way you can really shut them down is either make them come to you and have some sort of flank trap set up, or you have to actually make the move onto them and hope that you get that backline, or bait them in by attacking their backline.
Here comes Vasta. They're getting up close and personal. Crisis, Hempe both falling. Disperse as well. And Yezen is doing so many things. Here comes a barrage from the top. A little bit eaten off from the defense matrix, but Explorer not able to keep out from this one. Edis, Disperse, Crisis that fell a little while ago. Abs died about 10 seconds ago as well. That barrage just providing all the value in the world. No bubble, no defense matrix in the world will eat up the entirety of a barrage.
No, and you will definitely see that now they're switching over to the Tracer and the Sombra. Of course, they're expecting to be hacking and bopping all around. Crisis and Apps also on the more avoidable supports, but Apps still gets pile driven because they, of course, force out that fade. And oh, supports are already down, Tugbo. What is this?
Wow. Yeah, so Vasta just proving that they really can't keep their supports alive. Abs died, what, 5 seconds in that team fight last time? And Yezen gets it going again. Disperse as well. No teleportation for you, my friend. Getting back over already 75% on ultimate. And he has what, 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 players down there between DPS, a single tank, and supports, and nobody can take Yazen down. Just like that, he's got a barrage again. Can't expect that this one's going to sit up top right for very long as Tractor Kid falls. So Disperse and more actually doing a great job of ganging up on this Avoided tank, and Toddy falling as well. I think Avoided realizes they've lost this one.
Yeah, Avoided is going to back up a little bit, but they're going to get chased into spawn. The Coalescence actually invested here from Apps. They really want to get 1 or 2 more kills here. I think they can get T-Sorcerer. They do that, but can they get more, or are they going to lose some players? Julo is definitely just juggling around still, Tugboat. This fight is just continuing, but it's all cleanup. It's not really a fight. It's just they're sort of trying to half spawn camp them, but meanwhile you do see Toddy going behind them, maybe going for the payload, but no backup possibility. It's all too far back. And
I mean,
ultimates, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. This is my man of Class. Seriously, look at this. We have one Crisis player a little bit close. Disperse now has his, but wholesale ultimates available on the other side. That's
going.
Here's the sound barrier. Instant reaction from Disperse. Get the most out of the sound barrier. T-Sorcerer falling, no supercharger available for you, so Avoided really not able to get a whole lot done with their ultimates. They only dropped, what, 2 of them? Yeah, they used the Handpay Rally, they used the supercharger there, so a lot of group healing, a lot of group damage, but really nothing going outside of that. Do you have a little bit of, okay, so there was an Avoided player who was in the backlines, one on, getting a little bit farther on. I don't think he actually got it farther, and here comes Yezen with the barrage again. I feel like a broken record.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake there from Vasta. Like half of them doubled back, and then it was actually Apps that was still left there. But oh yeah, it just finds the Tracer of Edis there. This is going to be brutal. They're just going to run into the spawn and keep spamming rockets. And Vasta was doing so well. They were controlling the tempo, being aggressive, making their move, not letting Avoided get out and make their spacey moves that they need from all the different directions. And now Vasta is pulled back into this corner. There's a tire coming their way. Oh, is it gonna get anybody, Tugboat?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's actually going to have to settle for a baby D.Va after Explorer comes out of mech. A lot of back and forth here. Yezin so close, 1.23 meters away, and that's pretty much just Hulo jumping around on point here, dispersed on the Genji, following in the last little second, and 2.5 minutes for the side of Avoided. They have pushed this all the way. 2 score on the last one, 3 on this so far. We're looking at an Avoided team in a very, very good position.
They're in a very good position. They're capitalizing on like the slightest mistake so well. Like they were being held in spawn, and then there's this one maneuver that's being made that sort of flanks Vasta from behind a little bit, and then Vasta incorrectly reacts to that, right? So they only have abs not reacting correctly. They're sort of dragged away from the front from the back line and put into the front line all alone in front of Avoided. And Avoided just capitalizes on all of these things. It's like they're pre-planned. But a lot of the time when you talk to Avoided players, they're like, I mean, we don't really scrim that much. Like we do, but we just play the game and have fun. And it's very much that Clockwork Vendetta type of style, right? Where if we don't know what we're doing, how can they? Now, Avoided is a little more organized. I will say that they're definitely not the same as we never scrim, because they do definitely practice a lot together, either in competitive or together. They have a lot of good game nights. I know they have like a whole like Snapchat, WhatsApp group thing going on. Like they have fun together, and I think that's really what it's all about. They're having fun. They're showing us all that you don't need to play this hardcore meta in order to perform well in Overwatch. And Vasta is now going to try and deal with this. They're going on their own attack. They're going to pull out this dispersed Genji and Edis on the Echo. Now, we've seen Edis do very well on the Echo, and I think it can work well, especially if there's not really any hitscan on the other side. But they still need to get through. Their tanks need to also survive. Their supports need to stay alive. And let's see what they run into. It's a Symmetra!
Toddy staying on the sim. Interesting stuff. So this will be the first time that we do see a sim played after the first 5 seconds or so of a game, and that really just used to get their team farther out. Now, but the Echo though, where is this target going to be? Who are you gonna copy? I like the disperse switch. This is something that Vasta tried last time, but there just wasn't really a whole lot of time to get it coordinated and get this Genji going.
Yeah, last time they duplicated the Wrecking Ball, but they might want to go for the Symmetra or the Orisa. Tanks are usually a very good target because you don't immediately get bursted out of it. If you go for a more squishy target, you usually just get deleted, and then your ultimate essentially means nothing, but you just have an extra life. So that's the only reason why I would really see that move when they use it as an extra life tool. This fight's now gonna go underway pretty soon. Avoid is a bit split, so Vasta could make a good move here.
Interesting stuff. So just Disperse chasing down Toddy playing the sim. That is not something that you will see every day, man of class. Usually you'll see Toddy turn around on the sim, give that focus beam, just give him the business, you know, against the Genji. You can't deflect against that one. Oh, excuse me. 2.5 minutes or so. He's just getting a little bit low there, but now focusing beam onto Ball. Barely able to get away from that one. Maybe I spoke too soon. Yeah, so that's actually a Ball just proving that difference in move maneuverability over the Echo. Edis, Yezin getting it going here, and that's actually going to be the Pharah. Or no, excuse me, I thought that was the Mercy, but it's really just the Ball that came over Tractor Kid, coming back to Edis, finishing up that one-on-one. A lot of, close to 33%, but not quite Cigar for the side of Vasta.
And they really need to start getting some DPS ultimates up. It really feels like they're taking way too long to build this duplicate, this blade, even the tank ultimates. Now Explorer's even switching up the Sigma. It was getting close to the Gravitic Flux, but just not going to be the thing. Tractor Kid, so Ball will be taking down early here, and that's a good start. Obviously, they'll have a teleport over to the spawn. The Ball is very mobile, so they'll be back basically before this fight even starts, but it's still a good pick to get.
6 ultimates on the side of Avoided, and just like that, I think Tractor Kid's back already. Just like that, there you go. Barrier first, then the Disperse Blade, and Disperse is absolutely wasted. Oh, the barrage from up top. Now, Yezin did get damage onto multiple members. Tractor Kid able to finish up this first and stop that Dragon Blade in its tracks. The Sim gonna be the copy target so far. Toddy falling on that one. Gonna get a little bit of value from these turrets, but not a whole lot. Vasta over here, and actually that Echo pays off in spades, man of class.
Oh no, Tractor Kid! They get the triple boop onto Vasta because they were all way too low. And we've seen it. They said it. We can get the triple kill in a tier 2 scrim. And this is even in an official game. Tractor Kid, just an insane ball player. You can see it. Just keeps on going. That movement is beautiful.
Oh my! Did you just watch him absolutely launch Julo like into the
Yeah.
ocean? That was gonna be kind of hard to maybe send a send a player into tank like that. He was that big, but jeez, Reeds just sent him absolutely flying.
I think Julo went for the reset, so he jumped off the map, but he hit the pile driver mid jump, so that's why he got the kill credit like that. We do see now, we do see some crates coming out there. Hempe going down early is a great pick for Vasta to get. So a lot of healing gone for the defense now, Tugboat.
Yeah, T-Sorcerer has his work cut out for him getting Yazin up top healed, but Hempe, especially, that Ana does not have movement abilities to take a while to get back. 10 seconds to go here. Yazin, Toddy, both taking it. I think that might be the cherry on top of the sundae that Avoided has whipped up for themselves. This is overtime now. Vasta has no more space. Rock in a hard place for them. Coming all the way down, barely touching in time. Hempe falling again to eat his, but that is the only contention point for the side of Vasta so far. T-Source are pulling that Mercy ult, making it up close and personal, and you love to see the Battle Mercy go at it. Crisis falling there in the end, not able to get away from the Battle Mercy. Even that Lucio speed boost. And this is Avoided going to Absolute Town. 2-0 on the Busan, 3-0 on the Blizzard World. Love to see it.
Yeah, great play from Avoided all around. Like, of course, we know that Avoided can play this style where teams are just, it's so hard to prepare for. And I mean, I feel for Vasta. I definitely feel like they showed a lot of promise, especially on the first point of Busan. They got very close to winning a map. But I think Avoided, just as much as Vasta was adapting to them, Avoided also noticed what they were doing to adapt, well, what Vasta was doing to adapt to them.
Yep.
So, Avoided then adapts again, because of course, that's like the beauty of running a comp like that. You know how your comp works, then you know that they're going to eventually figure out how that works, and then you can figure out what they do. You already know what they're going to do against it because they think they figured it out. You change it up again, and then you just win. So like it's that triple psychology, always one step ahead. And unless you have like a really good teamwork and really good mechanical play, it's going to be very hard to deal with Avoided. And of course, we are at that high level. We're very much expecting these teams to do this well, very much expecting these teams to have that adaptability, to have that brain power, to have that, this is what we're going to do next. But that doesn't mean that Avoided is going to be an easy team to prepare for. So I'm very curious to see what Vasta can do against a team that plays more meta. And I'm also curious to see what Avoided can do against a team that plays more meta. Because, of course, both these teams weren't quite the meta squads. Vasta wasn't, Avoided definitely isn't. So both of them still have a lot to prove against teams that will potentially be prepared in a very different way for them.
Yeah, I think it says everything that Vasta was able to come forward in game number 1 and get, I think, like 90 or maybe even 95 on point. What these two teams have learned about each other, I think, will come forward and really decide their matchups in the future. Yes, it is hard to predict a team composition from a team like Avoided, but at the end of the day, they know that these individuals are only so comfortable on individual characters. Like you know that the Tractor Kid is going to come through and play ball. Now, if this wasn't Blizzard World and there wasn't that boot capability right next to point, would that have turned out the same way? Who knows? Obviously, these maps will change a little bit. Obviously, there's not always that boot capability right next to the control point, or right next to the first point on a hybrid map. But I think that says everything right there. Really, in my opinion, though, the way that Vasta lost this was just not paying attention to the Pharah. They played the McCree hit scan for a little bit. They used the Echo to get up there a little bit. They used the Explorer Diva to get up there a little bit. But they let that Pharmacy combination reign supreme. The entire first match was marked by team wins for Team Avoided because of barrages. They were initiated after the rest of the team got the Diva down, got shields down, and more. Straight up, that was the deciding factor all day long.
Yeah, very much so. And of course, I'm looking to all these players, and I know their skill. Like, I know that Vasta, it's a little bit of a newer roster, so we also don't expect them to have as much synergy yet. We know that Avoided, they have fun in and outside of the game. So yeah, I'm 100% waiting to see if Vasta can improve throughout this trials week. Of course, it's a very short week that they have the time to do that in. And if they don't make it, they might have to go to OD playoffs and come back again. So there's a lot of potential for Vasta to get some things going. We will get an interview with one of the players from Avoided, which of course is always very nice to get a little bit of an insight into the brain of the player. We will go. Yeah, I think we're going to that really quickly. So we're just waiting for Lightbringer to be. It's going to be Lightbringer, by the way, from Avoided. Of course, was subbed out after the first map, but still played half the series, and I was doing pretty well on that win set. Of course, Lightbringer is someone who we know more as like the tour player for Avoided. But yeah, I'm really happy to see if to talk about talk to Lightbringer about that. You know why that choice is being made.
Yeah. Just to fill a bit of time before he comes in, I think that you can literally watch the communications on Avoided pop off. That was Yasmin on the Farah who pointed out the tracer down bottom to get an instant pick. But we got Lightbringer in here now. Lightbringer, how we doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. Just such a fun series, right? That's always what it's all about. But yeah, welcome to the chat. Of course, you had a little bit of a break during that map too, so you could just let your team go to victory. Did everything basically go according to plan for you guys, or was there a little bit of a wrench thrown in the plan here and there?
No, I think for the most part everything went as expected. We really wanted to surprise people with me on Monkey at map 1 because I'm well known as a Torb 1 trick. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it something you like properly practiced for as well, that you're now like, oh, now I'm the Winston mate?
Yeah. Also, excuse my wife in the background. Sorry, she's having fun.
No worries.
Okay.
So previous to moving to EU, I lived in America. I lived on both the East and West Coast, and I did play in high elo teams as a main tank. So I actually do know how to play tank. Like I just played Torb because I think he's fun.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You know, no problem there. No harm done, right? If it works, it works. But yeah, it's nice that you're able to pull that out as more of a surprise pick. Do you guys have all of these weird, because I've been talking to your manager a little bit behind the scenes, of course, and she's always like, you know what, we can bring in anybody we want at any point in time, and they're just not going to see it come in. Is that really something you have properly planned as well for like the future opponents, or is that just something that happens at the spur of the moment?
I think with the original incarnation of Avoided, like we pigeonholed ourselves right into like one specific composition, and when you just like we wanted to stick with the motif of just like cancer one tricks, basically just super annoying stuff to play against. And this time around coming in, we're going to start flexing a lot more. I think we're going to learn new heroes, and we are practicing new things to like, I don't know, account for all variables. And that also means not repeating the meta. We want to like transcend the meta and do kind of like the Clockwork Vendetta sort of thing, where you just pay the way for new stuff.
I can dig it. But the entire idea of just like playing individuals that you're so comfortable on, that the player skill on those individual heroes kind of transcends, to borrow your word, whatever meta picks or whatever might be most compatible, or whatever is the widely accepted most compatible meta. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, basically. I mean, if you think about your favorite Overwatch League player, you know, and they might play a Genji or something, and then the meta is Goats, right? He's never going to play Genji. It's just not fun, right? You can't follow your own player because he's on Brig. It's just, I don't know. We would prefer to see people play heroes that they're comfortable on, first and foremost.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm with it.
And so far, it's been working out. You know, first series down. Do you have any particular opponents in your group that you're like, well, I wouldn't say necessarily worried about, but that you're preparing a little bit heavier for than for others?
Fair question.
I actually can't even remember who all the people are. I don't think we're too afraid of our first two opponents here. Like, I mean, I just kind of jumped into this. Like, we are preparing. I can't remember who is exactly the.
I think you're playing Roar on Wednesday, which is off stream. I don't remember who you're playing tomorrow. So you're in a group with Roar, Vasta, Angry Titans, probably.
I think Sheer Cold is probably up there, and maybe Ultimates, actually. Like, Ultimates has a really solid roster. And
yeah, that's the one. That's the one that was in there. Yeah. Okay. Not Angry Titans, they're in the other group.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's that's. I mean, there's still, you know, of course, there's quite a few teams that drop down from contenders again, which is, you know, rough for them. But of course, they do have to earn their spot back, and I'm sure you guys will give them a run for that to make sure that they don't. Do you guys? Because obviously, you have a fair group of players now, both on the NE and EU side. Do you really scrim a lot, or is it a lot of competitive practice? Like, what's really the training regime, so to speak?
So our team is nothing like any other team you'll ever join. I think Bastion actually made a mention of this during the Fran Cup. we're more of like a community of people who are regarded as sort of bad for the game, like one tricks or people who are really good at a specific hero, and like you can't assume that you can't run a hero in a certain spot just because it's not optimal. When you're a one trick, you find a way to excel in the worst scenarios. And when you do that and you make a team, it like you're fitting a bunch of weird puzzle pieces in together. So our roster is actually huge, and we are running sort of an NA team, but it's not complete yet. But we've actually had a decent amount of success with some of our NA players. Bastion Main, Aquamarine is really good. Yeezen's actually been ringing for NA with 230 ping or something, and he's popping off. That guy is a monster.
Yeah,
100%
I
for that,
guess
yeah.
I casted their first game in the Fran Cup. Like, unfortunately lost it against Dark Mode back then, but like you
Yeah.
can see that there is definitely potential there. Of course, the ping did play a factor. That's it's always going to be a thing, like you say. But yeah, it's really fun that you guys are just approaching this whole system in a very different way. And I think a lot of people watching might not have known that. They might not have been aware of like, oh, this is actually also an option. I don't have to play double shield Genji Ashe or Tracer or whatever. Like
Exactly.
I can do other things. And I think definitely that holds true the more down in elo you go as well, right? I think you guys have experienced that as well, probably. Where if you go to Diamond and people say, "No, you have to play this because it's meta," you're like, but
Oh yeah, it gets worse. And the thing is, like, there's actually like a bit of a trap in elo there too, where if you're not running meta, your team will actively work against you as well. They'll try to throw your games. So I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, you see it a lot more down there where they think the meta is just the end all be all, and it's just not.
yeah, and I think I like that approach, really. Yeah.
I can't agree more. The way I look at it, yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're coming through player, I think this has a lot to do with the whole video gamer mentality. That if you come through and there's these randoms in there that are trying to, you know, play the one trick, which almost might seem selfish, but I think you got a very, very good point that Overwatch does a good job of having these heroes, you know, balancing these heroes that are good in almost any situations. Now, there are some maps that simply, like Yeozen would probably not be able to do the same things on Pharah, right? That's fair?
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, I mean, some people like they would pick Pharah because it's good in that situation, not because they're good at Pharah. And that would be the difference between our team and other teams that are just picking counter comps.
Exactly. Pharah is still a relatively good character, even though, you know, some maps might be like, again, that lower ceiling or whatever, so there's only so much you can do, but it comes down to the individual player skill and them making that work no matter what in individual situations. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last sort of deep question that I got for you. So we were sort of speculating before, right? Because you play a fairly unorthodox style. So at some point, someone's going to like figure you out, so to speak. Of course, you're trying to get ahead of that. But I'm assuming you guys already know that, okay, if they're going to figure us out, then this is their solution to that. And then we have another solution for that. Like, how many levels does that go?
It actually goes infinitely, and it like when you pigeonhole yourself into a single hero, there is actually an end point. Like, there is a point where you cannot take that hero any further, and you have to switch. There's no choice. And it actually happened to us in the last official match we had. It actually, the team did figure it out, and they did run it, and we got absolutely rolled. No, I shouldn't say rolled. It was pretty even, but we just sucked on KOTH. Like, we could not win KOTH.
Okay, but so that's why, like, right now you're trying to get to some adaptation, right? So maybe a few different heroes, extra players in the roster to like have the flexibility to, when they figure it out, then have stage 2 basically coming up. So avoided stage 2 and then stage 3. That's I like that, because you said, like, I keep ahead of the meta, keep developing and keep iterating it. Now for the fun stuff, who is the loudest on your team?
The loudest? It's actually probably me. Unironically, European players tend to be really quiet, and I'm a loud American, I guess, and I'm quiet for an American too. So as an American, I do, like, when I'm on Monkey, I'm just screaming targets the whole time, just right down the mic. You know, I didn't play today, but I imagine the loudest target might have been Ball, and he's like meek. He's proper meek on the mic. So
there you go. I like
Fair
it,
enough.
kind of fitting that stereotype of like loud, boisterous American, and then more calm, cool, and collected European players. I like it.
Yep.
Lightbringer, I want to thank you for giving us a little bit of your time after game, coming on and giving us a little bit of your opinion.
Yeah,
Give us
you're
the
welcome.
shout outs. What do you have to thank? Who do you have to not thank? Give us the shout outs. Give us the plugs.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, shout out to everybody, man. I don't know. We actually felt like we got kind of screwed. We were like offered a spot to come back and compete in Trellis. So thanks to those guys. I think they're actually on a different team now, and I hope to see you in contenders. But yeah, thanks for giving us a chance to show our skill and just move on.
Yeah, just prove that you're worth it, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, again, like, thank you very much for being here. Of course, anybody can find Avoided on Twitter and everywhere, so you can keep up to date with their schedule. I think it's Avoided GG, actually, just on Twitter, fairly easy to find. They have a beautiful, what's it, danger sign, a awareness sign. There's a big triangle with the exclamation mark. It's fair, you'll notice they'll be there. So keep up to date with them. I think they post some funny memes and clips every now and then as well. And with all those fun heroes, it's probably original content. So, with that, thank you very much, Lightbringer, for being here. Of course, good luck in your next matches. And, congrats still on the win.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Cool, Tugboat. That was some insight.
That was fun. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed talking to Lightbringer there.
Yeah, and I think I really like. Of course, they have a very different team. Like Lightbringer definitely pointed that out. Like they're so different from what we're used to seeing. Like how teams practice. Scrim every day, and the same comp, and then a few different iterations on different maps. Like they're so. I'm not gonna say weird because it's not weird. It's just they're so unorthodox. Like that's like unique, and I think that's really a feel I like. Of course, we all to a very large degree fell in love with Overwatch due to all the unique characters. So bringing them out to their full potential, bringing them out because you want to play that hero because you're so attached to it, or for any other reason, really resonates with a lot of people, I guess. And even though some are just liking it for the memes, I'm still sure plenty of you are also out there really liking that. Not just the same thing as being playing over and over again. And so far, we've had a relatively diverse day. We started with Young and Beautiful versus Something Morningstars. Yes, they played the same comp for 2 maps, and both mirrored the heck out of that. But then you go to that second game, and almost no same hero is being played in the exact same way. Like it's this completely unique, very fun to watch, very brawly, very diverse. And when both those teams go up against other teams, we're going to see more of that diversity, more of that mixing it up. Lots to look forward to. But that was Trials Days 1 concluded at Tugboat. We've done it.
Yes, sir. Come to the end. I like it a lot. To throw in my last little opinion on the kind of the avoided side, like kind of the one tricking. I think that when you talk about longevity, I mean, yeah, we all got an Overwatch because, like you said, different characters, a little bit of something for everybody. Longevity, I think burnout happens a lot because of forced players, right? Like how many player announcement how many twin longers do we see from players during GOATS, right? You have an entire DPS section, right? Who's just simply not allowed to play their heroes like at all. There was I guess Sombra was a little bit tiny variation. They could come through. Other than that, is just tanks and is just healers. So longevity-wise, I think that Avoided is doing great things for their players and allowing them to really excel in the individual characters that they enjoy playing. But like you said, I do believe with that we have reached my least favorite part of any broadcast, and that, of course, is the end. I'm FBI Tugboat, my man of class. I want to give a shout out here to Juke down there in Producer's Box, just producing away, making our jobs just so much easier. Like you said, this has been Contenders Trials, day 1 of our 5 days, right?
Yeah, day 1 of our 5 days. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, different teams. It will be great. Just 8 CEST. That is, if I'm not mistaken, 2 p.m. EST. Yes, so because -6. So be sure to tune in. Just come back, and we'll do more trials for you. Like we're gonna get all the way through to Friday, which is the last day. And it will be series after series of great Overwatch. Don't miss it. Up and coming talents being shown, and we'll try to get as much content of interviews out of there as well. So get to know the players, get to know the teams, and who knows, you might see the next Overwatch League player blossom right here on Monkey Bubble.